Being authentic. 2 words, very easy to say, but for some reason, hard to live by. Hard to even explain in a lot of ways. For me, I've spent the last 2 days trying to come up with how this video would flow, how I could explain it to you. Because to me, I think being authentic is unbelievably important. It's something that I've worked on for years and will work on probably for the rest of my life. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the longest relationship that you're going to have is with yourself. And if you're not authentic, then your relationship with yourself will be fake, which will make you suffer and ultimately make you a fake person. And that sounds harsh, and I don't mean it that way, but we have to look at the reality of a situation. Being authentic is difficult. In fact, what does it really mean? I was trying to come up with a pretty good definition. The best that I could come up with is being authentic, or authenticity, is being the most honest, most real version of yourself. It's in many ways like listening to a song for the first time that means something to you, something that you can't quite explain, something that deep down moves you in a way that maybe another song hasn't before. But when you hear it, you're instantly brought back to a moment and you have those intense feelings. I think being authentic is very similar to that, in that you have those intense feelings of who you are, of what you're truly interested in. And I think it's incredibly important. For me, for many years, I was not always my authentic self. I'm still not always my authentic self. Full disclosure, I have not figured out authenticity 100%, and I don't know of anyone that actually has. But what I have figured out is a few things along the way, and I can kind of give you a little bit of my own journey and maybe some tips about things that maybe worked for me. So, growing up, I have always been a very talkative person. I like to talk to people, and I tend to speak a mile a minute when I'm talking to people because I get so excited, because I enjoy it so much. And that is definitely my authentic self. But with that, sometimes I get so excited, I start saying things without even thinking about them. I get way ahead of myself. I'm basically a car going 100 miles an hour with the people still 30 miles back. Not ideal. And it's something that I've had to work on for most of my life. And I've had people tell me, Mike, you could sit back a little bit. You could listen a little bit more. You could just give it a second. And it's been good advice. It actually has made me more my authentic self for a couple of reasons, because it allowed me to listen to other people and give them a chance to talk, which then gave me a chance to listen and be able to respond better. Other things that I've struggled with is growing up I had really bad acne, and I was always kind of embarrassed about my looks, whereas it took many years for me to realize these are the only looks I'm getting, so I better enjoy them for what they are and make the best of what I have, as I think we all try to ultimately at the end of the day. As I said earlier, the relationship with yourself is going to be your longest relationship. It was there from the second you were alive until the second you die. That will be your relationship. So if you're not authentic to yourself, you're essentially being fake, which means you're going to suffer for it in the long run. And you're going to regret it when you realize that time has passed and you aren't who you truly are, who you meant to be. And with that takes a lot of courage. It's not easy to bare your soul. It's not easy to be out there, to put yourself out there, and to be who you really feel you are deep down, because ultimately we don't want to be ridiculed. We don't want people to not love us or judge us or feel that we are not worthy. But the reality is, more oftentimes than not, people are not necessarily going to come out and judge you or ridicule you for being who you are. They probably will like it even more. Now, how do you find who you really are? That's tricky. I haven't solved that completely, but I can give you a couple tips, a couple things that I have found along the way. First and foremost, you have to try lots of different things, and you have to be curious. By trying a lot of different things, you open yourself up to new possibilities, new events, new things that maybe you've never done before. For instance, one of the things that I have learned about myself is I really enjoy lifting weights. It's something that I kind of have gone back and forth with for a long period of time in my life, but I get great enjoyment from it. I love going to the gym. I truly do. And not everyone does, and that's perfectly fine. But to me, that's something I love. I love sitting alone and reading. It's something else that doesn't necessarily seem to fit with somebody who likes to talk to people, but it's something I love to do. I get great joy out of it. So if you're curious about different things, new things, and you're open to these new experiences, you can find those things that kind of make you feel something more than just normal everyday life. You explore those, you go further down the rabbit hole with them, and you discard the ones that don't. Maybe the ones that kind of drain you. They don't give you the energy you want. They take away from what you ultimately want to do. That helps you find your more authentic self. It also helps you find interests, things that really enrich your life. The second thing I found is patience. You're going to be in this body, you're going to be this person till the day you die. And sometimes we have to be a little bit patient with ourselves. Give ourselves a little bit of grace that you're not going to figure it all out at once. I still haven't figured this out. Right now I'm talking to you trying to be as authentic as I possibly can, trying to be honest. But maybe I'm not fully. Maybe there's parts of me that I haven't even met yet or don't even know yet. It's probably true. I think it's true for us all. It's always a path of discovery sooner or later. But if you're open to it and you're willing to keep trying to learn something new about yourself, see the things that you do or don't like, I think it's important. There seems to be a little bit of I wouldn't call it a metaphor, but there's something very similar to the idea with epigenetics, which is obviously a very complex topic. I'm really not going to go far into it. But what they found with epigenetics is there are certain genes in each of us that are not necessarily turned on until you're placed in a situation or an environment that forces them on. And sometimes you have dormant things in you that you didn't even know exist, but you can thrive in, or you can't. Being open to those new possibilities gives you the opportunity to see where you may thrive. You may find a whole new world out there that you didn't even know existed. I know, obviously I'm just talking to you, but if you go deep down inside, you sit with yourself for a little while and try to figure out, what is something I really like doing? Maybe I should explore more of that. You might find that life gets a lot more enriching, and you get a little bit braver and can show a few more people. Obviously, you're not going to show everybody all at once. I don't think that anyone has the courage to do that. I know I certainly don't. Even though I might seem that way at times, or other people do. Everybody kind of gets a little bit self-conscious at times, and that's okay. It's just willing to put yourself out there and figure out, oh, I really enjoy this, or, oh, I really enjoy that. Walking into a situation that's new can do that. But give it a try. Be your more authentic self. Because ultimately, I think that will enrich your life, make you happier, and you never know where it could lead. That's how you forge yourself forward.